Hello and welcome to Columbus Local Podcast. I'm Len D'Amico, and this is episode number 88.
Woo!
And tonight, it's Billy Spitfire.
That's me.
Billy.
I'm 88. Cool. Right on.
It is
Number
cool,
88.
like a wide receiver on a football team. And you could be a wide
Yeah.
receiver on a football team, number 88, Billy Spitfire.
I'm
Where-
always going for the long play.
Dude, where did Billy Spitfire name come from?
Ooh, it's another football analogy. When I was playing football in high school, sometimes I would get kind of riled up, and I was like the
Like wiry, wild?
smallest, slowest, weakest person on the offensive line. So I would come in after practice and start throwing my socks into the locker and my shoes and banging, and I'd be all red-faced and, upset. And they're like, "Oh, Spitfire, take it easy. Ooh, Spitfire Whitmire. Ooh."
Yeah. And that was it.
Spitfire Whitmire, yeah.
The nickname is born.
And then when and when I was growing up as a little child, before I turned 10, they called me Billy. But when I turned 10, I wanted to be known as Bill because I thought that was more grown up.
Sure. Every 10-year-old brewing testosterone.
But I'm not grown up anymore. I've given up that. That's highly overrated.
And you go by William now.
I go by whatever. I've been called everything. Wild Bill, Buffalo Bill, Billy Ray.
Billy Spitfire
Yeah.
and myself have been friends a long time, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as long as I've really been involved in the Columbus-based music,
Mm-hmm.
you were and you remain one of my mentors.
A mentor and a friend. Yeah. We've had a great friendship.
We have, man. Absolutely. Like if I were broken down on the freeway, you'd be one of the people I would see if you were
heck yeah.
around.
Oh, heck yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think we've been in those circumstances before.
Dude, we've talked about so many different things to, living, to working, relationships. Yeah.
Women,
Bands.
women, music,
Right. Music.
gear,
Women.
guitars, women.
But all that. Yeah.
yeah,
Because
man.
it's all part of life. And
Yeah, that's the thing. For you, and those that don't know Billy Spitfire, Billy, aside from being probably one of the coolest cats that you'll encounter in your lifetime, he's got a heart of gold, and he is a fabulous musician and artist.
I'm cowering from all these.
I mean, and you've been a
But
great,
thank you.
you've
I
been a
appreciate
great
you
friend
saying
too, man. To your point, we've had a lot of late nights, a lot of music, and a lot of gigs together.
Oh, man.
In the early days for me,
And a
like
lot of-
midstream for you,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
our paths crossed, and I'm grateful to you for those times, man.
And we bonded over TJ's.
Many times,
Late night breakfasts.
jamming at Eldo's,
Oh, yeah.
or
Yeah.
anywhere in that area.
Yeah.
TJ's
Good times.
unfortunately is gone at Morrison High,
At Morrison High.
but Eldorado's is still there.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
and a great music venue that is. It really is.
Right on.
Huge kudos
Boy,
to
they
them.
really stepped it up, and I'm glad they did. Yeah, it's really cool.
How do you describe yourself musically, Bill? You're a multi-instrumentalist. You play a lot of different instruments, and you've created so many different musical pieces, that various genres. You play live. You still play live. You're involved in a lot of different. But your own words. Where you at?
Well, it started by watching the commercial for something called Milk Cow. They were on a stick, and they were related to sugar daddies, but it was some kind of chocolate concoction. And they had this character named Milk Cow, and then one year they decided to come out with Orange Cow and Green Cow. And Milk Cow was singing this song and playing a banjo. And so I was like, hey, that's really cool. So I took a Kleenex box
You made your
And
own.
yeah, I made my own banjo out of like cardboard, you know, like the center of a
So wild.
paper towel roll and rubber bands, stapled them on there, and it actually worked. Yeah. So that's how I started playing strings. But then I kind of fell in love with trumpet, played trumpet all through high school and into college. Bonded with a fellow named Mike Barrick, who's now the bass player for Armstrong Bearcat up in Cleveland.
Very popular band in Cleveland.
Oh,
Still a
so
very popular
talented
band, right?
You know, oh yeah, yeah. They're just a power trio and some of the best musicians you'll ever see and hear in your life. But started playing trumpet. You know, played through the high school bands, quit the high school band. We formed our own band, our own big band out of the best players in the county. We then went off to college and learned how to play guitar and bass from, you know, our roommates and borrowed instruments and garage sale finds, you know.
Playing rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we turned it into a rock and roll band, and then from there, you know, I found out about punk. He found out about jazz. And, you know, our paths have crossed
took
so
him
many
north and
times.
you
Oh
south,
yeah,
right?
yeah. He's a
Yeah.
professional player. I'm a professional music lover, and I've always needed to play. I wouldn't say that I have a particular style because I love so many different kinds of music. But the most important thing to me is that the music expresses something, whether it's an emotion, whether it's a feeling, whether it's a passion, whether it's a purpose. But it expresses something to the listener, and that expression has its own relationship with the listener. And then something happens in the brain of the listener, and then it grows to something else. You know, it spreads, and that's my kind of purpose in playing, is just to share that love, that feeling,
that energy,
and
right?
that energy,
The
yeah,
energy, man.
and it just has to come out of me, and so I do it, whether I get paid or not paid. And I've had all those kinds of gigs.
It's about the vibe.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
we've
right.
had those. We've had those
Oh, yeah.
Saturday night, the Ramada nights. Haven't
Like
we,
Murph
Billy?
and the Magitones.
Have we not? Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We've had those nights.
We've had those
And
nights.
those were good music. We would just
Right.
just pour our hearts out there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you have
know.
everything from, I remember one time,
Next week it'll be bigger crowd.
I remember one time playing, and it was kind of a pseudo punk band. It was alternative music, but I was living on Summit Street, a couple of houses down from Ruby Tuesdays, and my band was playing there on a cold night, and nobody came out, and we're just standing there on stage going, "Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do?" So we just started playing all of our songs reggae style. and
That's cool.
then lo and behold, like a group of like 7 or 8 people came walking in the door, and we're playing this reggae. And before long, everybody's dancing in a train, going all over the bar, and it was one of the best times of my life, you know. So, lesson learned: just make the most of any situation, you know.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
so much fun.
Adaptation.
But we've had those glorious nights too, right? Just glorious
Oh.
nights in front of huge crowds and
fun crowds, party
Oh,
crowds,
man.
hopping crowds.
Yeah.
India Oak in Clintonville in particular, right, Bill?
oh, India Oak, yeah,
You
lots
know,
of good times there.
A
Wow,
nice,
yeah.
solid neighborhood, local music supporting
Good spot for
venue.
gritty rock and roll and blues and
all kind of stuff.
yeah, learned
Yeah.
our chops there.
I did.
Yeah, I did in a different way. You were just starting to learn guitar.
Yep.
But I was a guitar player, and I had not really played bass much, like maybe for one band way back,
Right.
when. And we had like a list of 6 songs, right?
Yeah.
But I told Heath, our leader, band leader, that
Shout out Heath.
Heath McMullen, Brighton Blues Band, he
An
pulled us
assembler and
together.
arranger.
There you go. I said, Heath, you know, you keep losing bass players. I'll tell you what, I'll do you a favor. I will be your backup bass player. I'll learn your songs. It'll be good for me. I don't want to play guitar in your blues band, but I would love to play bass. And so I'll learn those songs. And 2 weeks later, he called me up and said, "Hey, Bill, you're the bass player now." And
Well, I mean,
that's
dude,
history,
I knew
you know?
I knew you. I mean, we knew from that time where you, I think, consulted Keith to pull me into what he was doing as basically the lead guitar
Because
player for
you
a
had
bunch
so
of
much
blues.
soul, Lenny.
Is that what it
You
was?
had
Is that what it
soul
was?
in your playing. You didn't know anything about what you were doing,
No,
but
man.
you had that.
I had a
You
little
had a
inkling.
connection between your heart and your fingers, and it was good.
It was through the guitar.
It was a good foundation. So, you know.
Yeah, Billy, you know, when so Heath, yourself, and we'll pause here for a minute because you guys kind of took me under your wing. I was learning, I was in the forest without a flashlight, you know, with this whole local music thing. I kind of had a really late start in getting involved in anything to do with like what you would call local music, right? And, but I ended up running the Dolphin Lounge open jam on a Wednesday weekly regular schedule. It was called Workshop, and we had myself on guitar and David Rose on drums and Dan DeSantis on bass. So Dan and myself, I think Dan was a part of the Brighton Blues Band at the time.
Yeah.
With Heath.
Yeah.
And I
He
think
was one of the
and
players,
he might
yeah.
have been a part of, you know, bringing all of us together. Because for a minute, Dan was the bass player. He was
Right,
At least
yeah.
when I was playing then.
Yeah.
We had
handful of gigs,
other bass players were coming in and out there too. But you saved the day with Stability. You know, when you came in as a bass player, and that was maybe a year after that first encounter at the Dolphin Lounge, where the 3 of us got together. But nonetheless, you guys brought me under your wing and said, you got to get off that digital monitor thing and the modeling thing, and let's show you what tube amplification is all about. So
Tube
I learned a
amps,
lot from you guys, man. You know,
And we were
signal
then we
chain
started-
management and
Yeah.
natural dynamics.
Yeah.
And I honed in. Not a lot of effects.
Not only that, but we expanded it from blues to like R&B and to soul and to funk. We were playing Delbert McClinton and, you know, you name it.
Yeah, Three Dog
It was
Night.
cool.
Eric Clapton.
Yeah, I think we even played a cake.
ZZ
We did a
Top.
cake.
We did a cake
did
song.
that. Yeah,
That cake that covered.
it was a cake cover.
that covered.
It was a cover that Cake did,
Yes, there were a couple of those.
which had a great bass line, by the way.
The Brighton Blues Band, and you were the bass. So you came in, you saved the day with Stability for bass, and it did have a great bass line. But every one of those songs had a great bass line because you were the bass player.
But you know that led me to so many other things because then you hooked me up with Matt Cretion and One Ton Diesel.
Yep, great band.
That was a great cover band,
Great band,
a unique cover band.
groove band.
Brian Spicer played the acoustic guitar, and we played all the pop hits. Jason Hill sang the vocals that nobody else could sing.
Dude, Jason Hill.
Nobody would dare
is a
sing Michael
force.
Jackson and all those crazy
How do we
high
get
voices.
Jason Hill
and-
back involved in
I know.
this stuff, man?
He's a great dude.
He's a really sweet human.
Yeah. But we learned a lot of styles from that. You hooked me up then with those guys. Because I was playing with them, I got hooked up with Chris Barton and the Skillet Lickers, which later became the Devil's Payroll. And then from there, I mean, I kept getting bass gigs. Mostly
Yeah.
because of that crazy beginning of just saying, "Hey, I'll be
You
your
help Heath out with
backup
this
bass
blues
player."
stuff, this Delbert McClinton stuff, and that's the material. A lot of it similar, that type of vein that I'm involved in as bass for Soul Revival.
Nice.
Playing with Johnny Booth
Oh,
on
yeah.
guitar, who's just a treat
Right.
to
I
perform
love
with.
John.
He's such a sweet guy, man. You know.
Great guitar player.
And and the star of the show is Gabrielle Johnston. She's a force vocally. She really
Nice.
does a lot of fun
Yeah.
covers,
Yeah.
and we can be seen mostly at Gatsby's and
Think of all the
those type
lead
places.
singers that we've met through this over the years.
True.
Lenny.
True thing.
Wow.
I know.
Lead singers and bands, and it's been a good ride.
Oh,
And it continues.
It's
You had a
continuing.
band called The Ride one time, too.
I did, and you were in it
I
for
was in The
a
Ride for a
minute.
while. I forgot about that.
And then from your experience there, you leveraged, I think, some of the songs, and you had Spitfire Cox hitting
Oh, my God.
the dance tunes.
You're right. It was
on
a
High
bass,
Street,
a bass drum duo.
grooving.
All we did was take the grooves of the most popular songs or the most grooviest songs from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s.
Which was basically the ride.
right.
But you did it very creatively. I thought
Oh
it
my
was
God.
cool. It was
Yeah,
cool.
so we would just play those grooves, and then once in a while when we got to the chorus, we would sing a couple lines of the chorus. It was the craziest thing because we'd be playing this stuff and people in the bar were talking while we're playing the groove, right? But you could see them dancing in their seat, so that's how I knew I was holding it down on the bass, if people start moving their hips, even if they're not even standing up dancing.
You knew you had the right groove, the right tempo.
Right. The groove, well, the feeling, the bass makes your spine rock,
Yeah.
it makes your spine rock. The drummer makes your feet and your hands move, The guitar player appeals to the cerebral, thought
Icing
process,
people.
high level thinking.
Icing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The singer always just gets the eye look,
Oh, yeah.
Whoever's singing, whether they're good or bad, people look at the singer because somehow they think that all the music emanates from the singer. But
And they're awesome.
yeah,
If the rhythm section's good.
Yeah. But anyway, it's cool how a band appeals to all parts of the human body.
Yes.
But we would be playing these grooves, and then, sure enough, we'd get to the chorus and we'd start singing it, and then other people would join in, and then somebody would just step in front of the stage, grab a mic, and start singing the verse. So we knew none of the verses. We couldn't sing any of the verses. But somebody in the crowd would always get up and sing it.
That's cool.
And yeah.
It was a built-in party.
Yeah, so
And you were playing Bossy Girl Pinup Joint and all kind of good stuff.
yeah. So we got paid like we were a 4 or 5 person band and we were just 2 people.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
You guys ran that for a couple of years.
Yeah, it was good run.
I think you outlasted the ride, actually.
Oh yeah.
That was-
For sure.
It went 5 years. It was
Chris
fun. It was
Cox,
a
but
fun day.
Chris. So Chris has been with me for a few different projects, and now he plays drums in the punk band that I'm in, the Mathematics.
Yes.
So in that band, I play lead guitar, which is also a rarity because there's a million guitar players, right? And the bass players always get the gigs. So it's pretty
guess
rare
I'll
that
find
somebody
out.
says, "Hey, I want you to play guitar for me." But it started with my neighbor who came to one of my Halloween parties,
Really?
seeing one of the other bands that I had brought into the
Dude,
mix.
those Halloween parties are iconic. They're iconically remembered.
They're fun. They are fun. So anyway, that prompted a band to form on my street. with Keith and Ian, and we had a band called the Rhinos, which
That was good. That was good music.
Yeah.
It was.
And Keith was just learning how to play guitar at the time, but a clever songwriter as well. And I told him, I said, he wanted me to play in his band, and I'm like, well, okay, you guys have a lot of energy, so why not? Because again, you don't get asked to play guitar that often in a band, because there's usually somebody else that already has a guitar and they want to start their own band, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, then they want to play their songs.
They want to play their songs. So
And you're ass,
he was like, yeah. So I was like, well, I'm not really a lead player, but okay, whatever.
You're a lead player.
So
get out of here.
So I cut my chops, as I called it. As I said to Keith, I said, okay, you write the songs, I will paint the lipstick on the pig. And that's what we did. And it was cool. And it went over well.
No.
So then when that band eventually, had an implosion, then another friend of Keith's, Crystal Meth, as we call him, Chris Price, he calls me up as soon as
he hears that you're out.
As soon as he heard, because we were going to be doing a gig with his band. They were both soccer players. They knew each other from the soccer world.
Sure.
But they were also fronting their own bands. So as soon as he found out the Rhinos were gone, he calls me up and says, hey, Bill, you want to play lead guitar for a punk band? And I was like, no. I'm like, there are no lead guitars in a punk band. What are you talking about?
This has been your story since day one,
right.
Has it not? You go from one.
So then,
Billy Spitfire, he's available. Boom, he's back in.
So a few weeks went by, and he calls me up again. He says, man, Bill, what you really... Come on, think about this. And I listened to it again. I'm like, okay, let's give it a try.
You had a week off.
Yeah.
It was a different day.
And now, 8 years later,
it's worked out, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about mathematics, right?
So it's a punk band that has its roots in old school punk, like the New York Dolls, the Dead Boys. It's got guitars. It still has a rock and roll feeling. It's not just totally punk. It's not just totally go from this chord to this chord to this chord. It's not just that.
It sounds like it's on fire.
And it's not really a pop punk band either.
No.
We're not a Green Day band. But we have a punk ethos.
Yes.
And punks seem to like us.
Yes.
And our shtick is we all dress in black and white, and Chris wears a princess dress.
Yeah.
And
it's a show.
Yeah, it's a show. So we play out of town a lot, probably more than what we play in town. And we'll go to a new venue, and the people are all kind of standing there, with their arms crossed. And okay, what's this band about? They see us come on the stage, and they're like, what? And then we break into the first song, and by the end of the song, they're all singing along.
They're won over.
It happens that fast. It's
huge.
And it's cool. And we're all a bunch of hams. We're all just, at any moment, we'll break into, Mr. Cheeseface, giving it up to the crowd or the photographer.
Yeah, man.
So and then I get accused
Poser.
of being the understated guitar player in the band.
What?
Yeah, I'm the understated lead guitar player. But you got to understand, we got Joey Yates.
I know Joey,
on rhythm guitar, and he's got the
he's the
downstroke king.
Does he have a bionic wrist?
Oh God, I don't know how he does it. I double pick, and he can downstroke faster than I can double pick. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
But he grew up on the Ramones. He was named after the singer, Joey, of the Ramones. And his dad played in a punk band back in the day.
Yeah,
And,
you two together on guitars, dude. That's a
and we
great
love
time.
it because we love that whole interaction, just like the New York Dolls, between Johnny Thunders and Syl Sylvain. He plays the role of Johnny Thunders. I play the Syl Sylvain. So he's got that rhythmic thing going, and that snotty attitude, and I've got the little musicality thing,
lead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing that stuff, filling in rhythms where it needs, but playing those little lead licks and
The
things. And
lettuce and mayonnaise.
so we're just back
Yeah.
and forth, and then now we're to the point now where we trade lead licks, and sometimes he's playing lead, sometimes I'm playing rhythm. We're like that. We're all over the place, and Joey is literally physically all over the place. He goes from his side of the stage, my side of the stage, up on the speaker, out in the crowd, into the bathroom, onto the street. He is the eye candy, for lack of a better word, but he's the punk eye candy. He's cool.
He's a show.
Yeah, and he's rock, and he's in a couple other great projects too. So
Chris Cox on the
fun
kit,
to
dude.
play. Chris Cox is machine. He's
Cool factor,
he can
very
double
high.
kick like nobody. He doesn't have a double kick pedal. He does it all on in one single foot. He's like Lars.
Yeah.
He just got that. He's got that balance on that pivot on that.
On that pedal.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then you got Byron Weaver, Iron Byron, I call him. He is a monster on the bass. He creates the most cool, melodic counter melodies on the bass. And usually I pull my lead lines directly from what he's playing on the bass. So if I'm ever at a lack for, on a new
Inspiration
song,
or-
inspiration, I just copy his lick and then, expand from
Take
there.
off.
Yeah. So Byron is just a monster, and he just like a bass player in any band, he really defines the band.
Driving that sound.
He's driving it.
The vibe.
Yeah. Yep.
High energy.
High energy. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun
an
stuff.
engine. It's a great show, dude.
It's fun stuff.
Love it.
And we've and
Chris.
and that's fun. It's taken us so
Crystal.
many. Well, Crystal,
I mean,
he's a trip, man.
Yep.
He's a trip. He puts on a different persona when he puts on that dress, and he just, it's like, what?
transformation.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's a
It's
great
crazy.
show.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And a great guy, It's
Oh,
like his wife is cool. She's an artist, and his son, and they're a cool family. So, anyway,
You've recorded.
yeah, we
you have-
recorded. We have a full album on vinyl. We just recorded our second one. I don't know when that's coming out.
The first one streamable.
We live off of selling merch. T-shirts.
I know Beth has at least 2 mathematics T-shirts, a white one
Oh.
and a pink one.
Oh yeah. We got black ones.
I follow you guys on the streaming services, but I do listen to that first album, dude, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great music. I mean, it really is straight up punk rock.
Yeah, it's straight up snotty punk rock.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
it's good. It's good music. It's
Oh, and-
driving.
Dude, we've written some really cool songs recently too, and they're so much fun. They're just so much fun. Those guys are great to work with. Crystal will come in with an idea, or Joey will come in with an idea, and then we flesh it out. Byron works out dynamic bass lines.
It's a big
We
deal.
all contribute to the arrangements. It's fun. It's a great collaboration, and they're good people. Such
We're-
good. Yeah, they've been my closest friends for the last 8 years. So.
Where are the songs created? Where's the studio? Who masters those? Who captures
Well,
the
we've done
tracks?
our first record was recorded down at in Grove City by Joe Veers, Sonic Lounge. Joe's a great engineer. He's worked with pros all of his life, and he is so relaxed and supportive in the studio, and he just lets you do your thing, and he catches on to that vibe, and then we'll jump in and help you. He helps you ride the bicycle.
The magic sauce.
He'd be like,
is
"Okay,
applied.
play your lead, Billy." It's like, "Oh, you got another one in you. That was good. Let's do it again. I know you got Let's play another one." And he's just so encouraging. It's so cool. He's so easy to work with. And then sometimes you play play it 5 times, and he snips and cuts from.
Oh, he cuts the best line.
From all 5 and patches it together, and all of a sudden,
there's your new lead line.
like 30 seconds later, there's the lead part. Oh, thanks, Joe. So when our first record came out, some of it I kind of created by mistake. Then I was like, oh man, I got to learn how to play that to play it live. But yeah,
awesome.
It's very fun. Very fun.
Iconic studio there, and a blessed, city to have Sonic Lounge there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Many of these homegrown projects are really getting great recordings out of there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we're looking forward to number 2 out of this band.
Uh-huh.
And I'd like to have the vinyl of that one too, Billy. I mean, I have the vinyl of the first one.
I'll buy you a frame you can put on your wall.
Just in case you don't have a little bit of wall space left.
I know you don't have a CD player anymore. We don't mix CDs.
Our Xbox it'll play CDs, but the software in it has changed. I guess we don't have the password to our ID or some crap. We just have to get it worked out, and we'll be listening. We have fabulous CDs that have been left here.
Right.
Or I'm just going to get by. I mean, how much is a CD player? It can't be that much.
Like I said, we survive on T-shirt sales.
Yeah, man. I feel you. I get it. It's cool.
Yeah.
You're involved in other projects. You play bass too.
I play bass. As I said, with One Ton Diesel, I played with a group called the Bastard Sons of Neptune. It's a surf band.
Right on.
Also, some of the best players in town, Greg Sharp and Matt Mikowski on guitar.
Yes.
And Dick Day on drums.
Yes.
Just amazing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a fun group, man.
It's a fun
surf rock.
Yeah, fun group. Greg plays with Bart Jenkins in the Digs right now. The Digs, great throwback band. Like Chuck Berry kind of stuff. And I actually played with the Digs for a
I remember that.
a handful of gigs. Yeah, and that was a fun time too.
Did you play bass or guitar?
No, I played guitar.
Okay,
with that one.
I would have liked to have been one of those shows.
Yeah, Bart hired me because he wanted somebody to sing some songs. He's always liked my voice, but so that was a great learning experience too. What other bands? I don't know.
The Flynns.
The Flynns. Okay, the Flynns.
This is a big band.
It's a 10-piece band.
I'm very
Literally a big band.
Energized by seeing the Flynns perform.
Yeah. The Flynns is a Rolling Stones tribute band. We play a couple times a year, and there's 10 people. 2 electric guitars, bass, drums, a percussionist, keyboard player, sax player, male lead singer, female lead singer, and then another supportive singer and acoustic guitar player, who also plays a heck of a harmonica. So,
man,
add that all up, and you got the
man.
Rolling Stones, just like their big concert performances. And so our female singer, Gwen D'Amico, she actually sang with the Rolling Stones when they played here in Columbus at OSU Stadium, about 10 years ago, something like that. And she was with the OSU choir.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
They were supportive on you can't always get what you want. So
Liar.
she actually just sent the group a picture of her on stage with Mick Jagger
Oh man.
to us last night. So cool. I mean, can
Oh,
you
yeah.
imagine? But
No.
she's just got
And
one of
she's-
those
and she's-
voices that
I know, she's
just,
awesome,
it's
man.
amazing.
And
oh
her
my
stage
God.
presence still make you melt. I mean, she's just so awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
when,
Bill-
and when
and
she
Bill
sings
Leroy.
"Give Me Shelter,"
Yeah, I know,
I mean, people just get.
I know. Goosebumps,
Every time
right?
we rehearse, I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Very emotional.
Crazy. You just got. I mean, it's just like, wow. That's the power of music. Just yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a blast. I play bass with that band, and playing the parts of Bill Wyman and
Those are great bass lines too. I mean,
yeah.
you're just driving that great.
Right. Right. Some of them were written by, Keith or Ronnie. It's just amazing. So it's so much fun. So much fun. It was a little confusing at first when you're thrown like 45 Rolling Stones songs to play, and you're like, oh shoot, I just played the lick from that song and this song, and they kind of went together. Sounded cool. Sounded like the Rolling Stones, but I was on the wrong song. Oh well. Oops. Yeah, you get that.
Matt
It's rock
Creation,
and it's
too,
only
man.
rock and roll.
Matt Creation, though, what an arranger.
Yeah. So
talent.
he's the drummer for that band, and
Yep.
he had actually literally pulled the band together out of people who showed up for karaoke night at Slick Whiskers, and these weren't just any old people off the street, man. They are like,
He can pick 'em, though.
the
He
sax
knows.
player. He's an instructor at OSU in music.
He can pick them.
It's a singer. Oh my God.
He knows.
It just people
picked you.
that have tons of professional experience.
I knew you'd be good for Matt, though, man, because you have
Well-
the whole Bucyrus thing, the background there, but just your vibe, and the serious nature of how you approach your
Well, you know
musical
how I got
parts.
into that band? Okay, so originally, the son of the rhythm guitar player was going to be the bass player, okay? And he played the first couple gigs with them, and I saw them, and I thought they were great. But lo and behold, he goes off to college.
And yeah, and then he
And
doesn't
Matt's
have time
telling
to
me
gig.
about this. He's like, I don't know what we're going to do. And I told Matt, I was like, well,
It's Stones material.
If you really need somebody, let me know. So now I'm the bass player.
That's cool.
And it's so much fun.
Oh,
so
sure.
much
Oh,
fun.
yeah, that would be a great show, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I be your understudy? Never mind.
Yeah, man. It'll just be
I know all those songs. Too. I know the bass line to all those songs. It's no problem.
the rotating bass player, right?
Well,
you
never know.
We're
You
starting
might
to
need
become
a-
our own joke, Lenny.
Just keep me in mind, man. I need the work. Just kidding. I love what I'm doing now on bass.
I know, isn't it fun?
It is.
I
Because
think
you don't have any other projects, do you?
Well,
we've been through a lot that you're currently involved in. That's a
Right.
lot, dude. I don't know how you keep it all together. You have more?
I'm trying to think of.
You're acoustic now and then. Every now and then I get a
Bands,
phone call from
well,
you.
yeah.
Hey, I got this thing, man. We're going to do just bring an acoustic guitar. $100.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I'm in.
Well, and actually, I have done an acoustic gig myself here and there.
yeah.
One that's kind of cool to check out is one I did at the Cultural Arts Center downtown with their program that's called Conversations and Coffee. So every Thursday they try to bring in one of the artists and have them talk about their work and their methods or their inspiration and how they tie to the community. And so somebody one day found out that not only was I taking classes down there as an artist, they found out I played music. So they said, well, we want you to do one of these Conversations and Coffee. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? They're like, just talk about your music and your art, and play us some songs. I'm like, what? I'm like, get out of here. And so, sure enough, I played. I think I played like 5 or 6, 7 original songs that I had written, and along with those songs, I showed a piece of my artwork, whether it was a painting or a sketch that was either a part of the songwriting or one inspired the other, or had some, real deep connection.
Sure.
And it was very fun. So if you want to check out, if you have an hour to kill, check out Conversations and Coffee with Billy Spitfire. The topic was part of the topic was I was painting some paintings for an upcoming show on the 3rd floor loft gallery at the Cultural Arts Center downtown called Pandemic Body Language, where I had painted figures with masks, and it was a whole, it was a whole vibe.
Right?
Yeah, it was a whole
series.
Yeah. So anyway,
I remember.
I showed some of those paintings, but then some other ones as well, and it's weird how many different connections, now that I think about it, that music and art have
The intertwined.
have just like led me down this path, you
Yeah.
know, and for example, one of the first people who ever asked me to paint a picture for them after I had learned how to paint a little bit, not much, I didn't have much experience, but Bart Jenkins, the bass player for the Digs,
Yeah.
he said, why don't you paint me a picture? How much would it cost? I was like, I haven't even made anything. I don't know. Paint me a picture of Shannon Hoon from,
Dun, 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 dun.
yeah, No Rain.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun,
yeah.
dun, 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 dun,
The-
dun, dun.
The Honey Money, the Mud, like,
Is it it's tonic?
No.
Not tonic.
no.
It's a
Okay, you can edit this, right?
no.
No.
We're not doing any editing, Billy. You know what? We're going to move on. It's no big deal. One of his favorite
But I
front
painted,
men, right?
yeah. So I painted it, and it turned out really cool. You know,
It is cool.
I found a piece of wood, at a garage sale.
And you painted it on the piece of
I
wood.
painted it on a piece of wood.
Yeah, but I remember that portrait, and it's an awesome painting.
So, this whole garage sale thing started back when I found an electric guitar at a garage sale. I mean, it's just weird.
Well, a lot of people don't know,
weird.
Billy, that
Yeah.
you do salvage guitars and basses.
I said, yeah. Oh, man.
You find these
Wow.
and is it okay to talk about this?
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
one
yeah.
one of the things that I've learned about Billy Spitfire is that he's a guitar
Enthusiast.
mechanic.
A mechanic. Okay.
You're an engineer.
Well, that's true. I
You
did earn
are.
my living being an engineer.
You are now.
Yeah.
Now that you're married,
Yeah.
and Heather's here this evening, your beautiful, lovely, newlywed wife.
Yeah.
Heather.
We got married by Elvis out in Vegas.
That's awesome, man. I love it. And congratulations.
Thank you.
But go hang out with Billy to maybe play some music in his home studio. But there would be one of these I don't know, 1972 Fender Telecaster body, all torn apart with a soldering iron smoking on the dining room table, right? And some
Right.
some solder
Yeah.
wounds and everything.
Oh, my God.
And you're putting the guts back together, And so, long story short,
Yeah.
you do find these
I call them my rescue dogs.
rescued animals that
yeah.
are out there in garage sales,
Unplayable
at a
guitars.
curb.
And yeah,
You
turn
probably
them
won't
into
divulge
workhorses.
all of your sources of collecting these, and you bring them back to life, and they're awesome playable instruments.
I would say that at
when
least,
you're done,
yeah, at least 75% of all the guitars that have ever passed through my hands, I've played on stage, like, at a legitimate gig. Yeah.
yeah.
So I turned them all into workhorses. Yeah.
Man, they're awesome.
And I would go to any one of them now and play it, have confidence, play it on stage.
The electronics are solid.
Electronics and just, and with
The
not a
necks.
whole lot of know-how, but just figuring out how. And, yeah, a lot of guitars have
tinkering.
passed through my
And tinkering. Would it approach 2,000 guitars, Billy?
Ooh, I don't know.
What
if
do
it'd
you
be,
think? What's your number?
Just
Just guitars. We'll move to basses in a minute.
I don't know.
Thousands.
I don't have an answer to
I
that.
have personally witnessed. I'm gonna throw a number.
That's my Halloween laugh.
I'm gonna. In some of them I've witnessed even, and I've played a lot of these instruments
True.
at your
Yeah.
Halloween parties. And,
Yeah.
And then Brighton Blues, I think I've played one of your guitars at least one time.
Oh yeah.
That have been salvaged. I've witnessed, I gotta say, in and out of your house, 350 guitars. And that's
Right.
just a fraction,
Yeah.
a fractional glimpse of maybe we hung out a lot, a
Yeah.
period of 7 years probably. And as much as we still would, our lives are in different spots, and we'll do something like tonight and just
Right.
hang out. And the point is, these are great guitars, and you've recirculated them into hopefully a long time forward, launching them out into
True.
into
And-
society to be loved and cared for,
Yeah.
as they should be.
Right. I mean, I love it. One thing that has changed, I don't work on the guitars anymore.
Really?
I don't.
Why?
I don't. I always use just a regular screwdriver, and it was hard on my wrist. Mm-hmm. It was hard on my wrist.
get it.
And I just don't do that anymore. I mean, think of how many screws that a guitar has.
Well, it's got a lot.
It's got a lot.
Yeah.
And I have,
A lot of adjustment points.
and the pick guards and the
holding
saddles
things
and the,
And you did that all
this
by
and
hand?
That, and all by hand.
You're telling me you did it by hand.
So take
Dude.
350 guitars and multiply it by, how many
I'm
screws?
thinking there's 27 screws in the
Yeah,
guitar.
at least,
You
you know.
think?
Yeah.
Or
that's fair.
37.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but
37
Yeah, call
is
it
probably-
30. Call it 30, but 30 times,
That's a lot.
250.
That's a lot of little, and that's a little like an eyeglass
Oh,
screwdriver.
my God.
Going at it on the pick guard like this. Just the thumb and the index finger, right?
Yeah.
And so now at our age bracket, we're the same age. I don't know about you, dude. I'm wearing hand braces when I'm playing guitar or bass
I've had carpal tunnel on both hands.
because I may have got
Trigger finger on both hands.
aging in
That's
for the
like,
week.
no.
Aging in for the week.
Can't do it anymore. Can't do it anymore.
I talked to Sean Pruden. He's talking to me about where he's
Oh,
got
yeah.
pain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Dude he's a workhorse.
Yeah, he's a monster. Yeah.
and you'd never know it when he's on stage, dude. You never know it.
No.
Yeah,
And you don't feel it when you're on stage anyway.
no.
And that's one of the
I have, that's why I moved to bass. I have less stage presence issues. It's a cripple. Dude, my feet are paralyzed. I can't stand
right.
longer than 2 seconds. up
And
there.
right, I get it.
And it's horrible.
Yeah, it's like
But bass allows me
at
to.
this age, between our bodies and the
Groove.
guitars, you go for the fewest single points of failure.
As long as she'll have me, dude. I'm doing this bass
like-
gig.
it's
I
like-
love it. I love playing.
Give me an effects pedal. What do I want on it? One knob. You know?
Yeah.
Give me a
Tune.
guitar.
Tune.
How many knobs do I want on
I
it?
would like-
Maybe a volume, maybe a tone. It doesn't have to be. They work just the same, you know.
It's all subjective.
Yeah. Same with like, you know, shoelaces, anything. If you can
So-
wear slip-ons, it's great.
So, you know, Bill,
Yeah.
you've transitioned from guitar. You play guitar all these years. You've mentioned all these bands, and you're in these great bands now currently that we can see you either on guitar or we see you playing bass out there and just grooving and creating the groove, creating the vibe, right?
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, it's been a great time. I mean, you know, in Columbus, I got started back with events.
That was your first band here?
That was really there was a brief stay in a punk band where I played bass, but like I said, we only had 6 songs. But no, but I played with events. Heck, we were record company showcase winners one year. Got to
Nice.
play at the Newport.
Nice.
You know, so I played on really cool stages, and you're gonna find this out when you're playing bass, when they have that
Carpet.
bass woofer, or you're on that stage where it's really dialed in.
You're in.
And you go to do sound check, and then you play that first note, and you're just like, I am God. it's tremendous. It's like,
That's when you roll back a little bit. Or pull up the treble a little more, right? That's when
oh no, you just
just let it rip.
at that point, you know you're the man. But, you know, the other thing about bass players
Bass is where it's at, man. It is. I'm learning quickly.
yeah, the bass player is the leader of the band without anybody else in the band knowing it. Okay? It's just the bass leads the
Drives
band.
the bus. Drives the music.
But, yeah.
The vocalist.
Yeah,
is
the
where
singer,
the eyes are,
thinks
right?
he leads the
Yeah,
band.
yeah. That's where the
Guitar
eyes
player
are.
started a band. It's his band. It's her band. Yeah, whatever. You know, but
Drummers keep the time.
the bass player, that's who leads the band.
Bass player leads the music part. Yeah.
Oh no, it's fun.
It
It's
is fun,
great.
man.
Yeah.
Now, when you've let's talk a little bit about equipment for a bass player. You know,
Okay.
because I've built a rig, and how do you set up your tone? You know, let's say it's a small club, like I don't know. Pick a small club,
Well,
like
okay,
India
well-
Oak, right?
well, okay.
And you got a 500 watt amp, and
it
you
starts
start
the same every time,
Yeah.
and here's how you do it. You put everything at noon, all the knobs, put them at noon, which means halfway between the softest and the loudest, or the most extremes. You put it halfway, and then you start adjusting from there. And every room is a little different. And then you also have some controls on your bass itself, which might be a volume, a tone. It might be 2 volumes, 2 tones. It might be whatever
whatever your
pickup
control.
configuration is. And I guess I would still say that the most important thing is to find that tone that works with everybody else, so that you're occupying a frequency space that supports everybody else but doesn't overpower anybody else.
Right.
And I mean, and that's true of any instrument. But with the bass, you can have all kinds of like real low end, or real clicky, or
punchy.
whatever.
Slappy.
And that's okay as long as you fit there with the rest of the band, because you've got a kick drum that's also going boom, boom, boom. Okay.
And guitars that are in there.
And you got a guitar that's
space.
up there, and so you got to find that spot where you have the right impact, and it's not going to sound the same as what it does in your living room practicing. It's not going to sound the same as the
Being a
record,
big
the
club.
record that you're trying to imitate if you're in a cover band, or the sound that you think you need to make. It's going to be that space where you can drive and support the band at the same time. And honestly, I learned a lot by playing bass through what was not a bass rig when I started with the Brighton Blues Band.
Yeah.
I had an old custom PA with
I
the
remember
stack. You know, it had 8-inch, like
Yeah.
what, 4 or 5 8-inch speakers, and it was so mid-rangey, so mid-rangey. It
remember.
was just like boop 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 boop. every
remember.
note came out the same.
But they were the those little speakers
Yeah,
that went over
yeah.
there. Yeah.
And so didn't matter where I said anything, it made that sound.
Same little
so
poppy thing.
So what do? You change how you pluck, you change how you fit with the other instruments. So it's really in the fingers more than anything else.
Yeah.
And once you get the idea that, okay, I can create all these different sounds with just my fingers, then you can go in and augment all those things that your fingers do.
Yep.
So,
Without a pick or with a pick or this,
Right.
that, the other. You
Yeah,
serve the
right.
song.
Serve
and
the
serve your
song.
bandmates.
serve the bandmates.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think the key word for bass is serve. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
You're
it's-
laying the foundation for
Man, you know
everyone
what?
to create,
It's
right?
deliver
the groove.
deliver the
behind-
message, deliver the
Yes.
emotion,
Yes.
deliver the feel.
The vibe,
So you connect with your audience, and it goes back to the whole thing
energy.
of watching the crowd. Okay, I know that I'm playing bass right when I see hips moving.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to see hips moving, then I know I'm playing bass correctly, because that is the frequency that actually
Motivates
mechanically,
or healing.
well, mechanically, that's the resonant frequency
Yeah.
in your body, okay, that corresponds to the bass playing. And so if you're making people move, then you're doing it right.
That's the name of the
Do
game.
they know what frequency you're playing at?
No.
Are they going, oh, I love that? He's like making that. No. Some bass nerds will go, yeah, oh God, I love the way he slaps and all that. Whatever.
Get the people moving.
Yeah, the people who are
That's
really
my goal.
The people who are there to listen to music and enjoy the experience, they don't hear any of that stuff. Okay, they don't know, but they do know if their hips are moving, and if they, if they come back and somebody asks them, "Did you have fun at the concert?" "Ah, we were dancing all the time." Bingo.
Right.
That's the bass player.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's as simple as that. So,
And working very much in concert with the drummer, right?
well, yeah, you got to be in sync.
Be
You
on
got to be in
one.
sync. You got to know whether you're
One.
which one of you is going to be ahead of the beat or behind the beat or both.
Serving the song and serving
Again,
your
it's
bandmates.
yeah. And I spend a lot of, if I'm looking at anything while I'm playing bass, it's going to be looking at the singers, of course, just to know where you're at in the
Absolutely.
song.
Yeah.
But keep an eye on that kick drum. Okay, I'm looking at the bass player's foot. So I always tell bass players, when they're a good drummer, I always tell drummers, when they're a good drummer, it's like, I am in love with your foot. I am in, if they're a right-handed drummer,
Yeah.
I am in love with your right foot. It's just that way.
Yeah.
And you really do. You fall in love with their foot, because that's what, that's what's keeping you on on target. So.
That's cool. Very cool.
It's a weird thing.
And it's
but
good insight, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate it. I appreciate
Yeah,
you sharing
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on the same. I'm on the same wavelength. I mean, I am, and I'm.
Yeah.
I've been playing. Neck instruments for a while.
Right.
And bass is a very different instrument. I mean, it is. I've been attacking it very differently. Yeah. The scales are different.
When I first started playing,
the groove is different.
Yeah, right.
I mean, am I right?
No, I mean, because you are, because when I first started playing bass, I had trouble hearing the difference between the G to the E. My ear could not pick up the difference, and I think it was because I was a guitar player. I was just tuned into that different frequency.
Yeah.
Those low frequencies, I couldn't. I just didn't hear them.
Blurred out on you.
But yeah.
Well, sometimes if a guitar is really low end.
Well, sometimes it's the kick drum that gets in the way too.
It cancels out.
Right. So again, it's not necessarily the note. It's the feel. And I've played a lot of gigs where I wasn't real sure what the notes were supposed to be, but if I played them the right rhythm,
it worked.
I could thump it out just as well as the drummer.
It worked.
I could make the hips move.
Dude,
they didn't care. They didn't care what note I was playing.
You've played so many gigs, Billy. So many. Hit us with a couple funny gig stories. And I know I'm the subject of maybe one or two of those, and you can use those if you want.
Funny gig stories. Wow. I don't even know. Wow, I don't even know where to start with that.
I do know where to start, Bill.
Oh, man.
And,
no. And
I think of anybody that I've talked to so far, you, and there are some great storytellers.
But they would almost always embarrass somebody.
You don't have to.
I can't do that.
Don't name the name. Don't even name the band. Just give us the storyline.
You'll know who I'm talking about out there.
I will know. Will I know?
I don't know.
Okay.
So one gig, we're out of town. Lead singer, notorious for misplacing things, losing things, not being able to keep track of things, especially once they've had a little bit too much to whatever.
Scatterbrain after 5-7 drinks.
Yeah, maybe it was the adrenaline, maybe it was the drinks, maybe it was whatever.
All of that.
Exhaustion, who knows? But notorious. Says, and with other bands, right, we've all got like merch booths set up, and we're all, raking in the dough, and the end of the night comes. The singer says, hey, Billy, can you help me find the purse, with the money, the stash of money? I'm like, what do you mean? Well, I know it was just here, but I don't know where it's at now. And then I'm like, well, okay, let's ask some of these other tables, maybe they've seen it, or maybe it's got slid under the wrong one, whatever. And they're like, well, no, we haven't seen it, but one of them said, yeah, we saw this one kind of sketchy dude, like, come up the table and kind of like walk off like he was, lifting something. Oh boy. Okay, this doesn't sound good. So, somebody asked the bar manager, and we're like searching normal places like green room and things,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where's the money? So I'm like, okay, I gotta act fast. I'm thinking if there was a sketchy dude that walked off of something, probably went outside, threw the bag away, took the money, threw the bag away, and it's probably behind,
door number 2,
dumpster or whatever, a window well. So I'm doing a search around the perimeter of the building. Come on. One more wall to look at it. Come up. walk up to the trash dumpster, and I'm looking on the ground. My eyes are all focused on the ground. And then, like, I see, like, a couple pairs of shoes, and I look up. It's a guitar player, and somebody just met
Somebody
by
what?
the dumpster.
That are doing what?
Somebody, another band member making out.
They were making out.
Making out, by the trash dumpster.
Yes. And they had the purse with them?
No, they didn't have the purse. It was just funny. Just caught them in an embarrassing moment.
Sorry, dude. I'm making it worse.
No, because by the time I walked back in,
The purse was discovered?
Yeah. It was like,
Oh, my gosh.
it wasn't lost at all.
All right.
Yeah, so that was one. One time we were playing. We were playing in New York City. Same person lost a bag of money
Again?
again. Like I said, notorious for it. So while and I was driving with the singer and the drummer. So all three of us are looking for the money. We finally find the bag of money, and we finally get checked into this, Airbnb, New York City. It's late at night.
Yeah, man.
Next
not
morning,
a sneeze.
next morning we're loading up the car again. And it's like, hey, what happened to my snare drum? I'm like, dude, we all walked around here like 15 times. I'm like, you got to keep track of your own stuff. I don't know.
Right.
And we're looking all over for it. It turns out he had left it at the, we get back home all the way to Ohio, and he had left it at the club in New York. Fortunately, he had a friend that lived there. A friend who came in,
Wired the money.
held it for him. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
That's cool.
Nah, funny stuff.
Do you remember the tooth?
okay.
Do you remember the tooth story, Billy, with the Brighton Blues Band? The tooth story, where and this is a shout out to Tiffany Baumgartner, who loves a good tooth story. Now, you witnessed the one I think I may have told on Tiffany's episode that she did last winter.
Okay.
And it was with the Brighton Blues Band. But I'm wondering if you have
The tooth.
a tooth story from a gig, something funny that's happened with your tooth. Do you remember when we were at the Hotspot Tavern at a Brighton Blues gig, and we were doing our thing, and there were two women that were having a good time in front of us, and they were dancing. It's the Hotspot Tavern on Sinclair Road, just north of where the old Roseville used to be, right? Little tavern, and I was doing a solo, and one of the women came around and was had her hands all over me, and you're just laughing, right, just like we are right now. I'm in the middle of a guitar solo.
Oh, yeah.
You got the bass going.
Right.
This woman's behind me, and she's got her hands everywhere. And then she comes, and you're just laughing at me because I'm kind of stuck. And then she came back around, and she planted a big, giant, juicy kiss on me. Do you remember this happening?
Yes.
And then she backs away, and she smiles at us.
Oh.
And she didn't have
You're horrible,
any
Lenny.
teeth on
You
from
are
this side of her
horrible, Lenny.
face over.
That's no reason
She
not to
smiled.
think.
There were no teeth over here, but she had a full set of teeth on the right-hand side of her face.
Oh, man.
And I almost...
Well, it was kind of shocking.
It was shocking, all right. It was shocking. I'm positive that was a moment where I was in between wives. I wouldn't have engaged in such behavior as a committed individual. And there were periods where I was single out there playing music. It's true, and that was one of
I
them.
have lots of funny stories about, that other musicians in the band have told me.
Let's do that.
But
What do you have?
funny band stories.
Or one that you've witnessed. That was pretty funny, I thought, at the Hotspot Tavern. And Brighton Blues Band had some fun post-gig, fun times. you know, like we talked about earlier. But for you, you've played in so many bands, dude, and you're one of the coolest cats ever. And you and I have watched
Okay,
your
well,
son
here's
come up
one.
together.
Okay, so here's one. So I was playing a one-ton diesel down at the Commons on the big stage out there for a fundraiser
Yeah.
for Second and Seven. That gives that encourages kids to keep reading when they're in second grade.
Yeah.
Referring to the football analogy of second down and 7 yards to go is kind of the hardest play because
It's a hard play.
it's a hard play.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
This
Second and 7,
yeah.
that, you know,
It's like
it's a make
it's
or
like,
break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to do something with it, or
You gotta-
or it's gonna not be good.
Get a first down.
Yeah.
Get one now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a lot of OSU football players are there, and the coaches were there too, Ryan Day, Urban Meyer. So I was playing bass, and was talking to Urban, introduced myself, and he said, "Well, what's your name?" Billy Spitfire. I was just up there playing bass, and he goes, "Billy Spitfire." He goes, "That's a funny name for a drummer."
Come on.
I'm like, "Yep, okay." Coach, don't know that tune
That's
very
all
well.
right,
Yeah.
man. That's cool,
Yeah,
man.
whatever. But just funny stuff. You
Dude.
need people. I don't know.
Listen, we can see Billy Spitfire playing bass in a number of bands.
I was just up there playing, Hang On Sloopy for you, It's like,
I know.
for you.
The Flames.
No respect. Bass players don't get much respect.
I know. I've noticed this. They don't know who they
Right.
are.
But we know.
But we
We
know.
know.
Oh, I'll know now. It's fun. We're going to see you in the Bastard Sons of Neptune, the Flynns,
Yeah.
the Rolling Stones, a Matt Cretion
Yep.
creation, assemblage of awesome talent, a great Rolling Stones tribute project. You're also playing lead guitar with the Mathematics. You got some new recordings coming out of that soon.
Yeah. Yep.
Busy guy, man.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time doing
On
artwork.
top of that, art.
Yeah.
And I'd like to put a link, Bill, in your episode description that people can not only maybe stay in touch with you, some of the music that you have
Right.
out there, and also your art.
My pseudo art business is called Billy Spitfire Unlimited.
Okay.
You can check out my social media at Billy Spitfire Unlimited.
And we'll have some
And Billy Spitfire, yeah.
clickable links to all
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And mostly been working with oil paintings, and but also exploring new things.
Watercolor, Bill. I'm telling
Just
you.
picked up watercolor.
How do you feel about watercolor? Because I got to tell
It's
you,
exciting. I love it. Although
I saw your
just
work.
this morning, I started one. I was trying to do a live model. And I was laying this thing out, and it's looking pretty cool, right? The colors kind of interacting with each other. There's some greens and some reds.
You can't
and some
fix watercolor,
different,
can you?
outlines just kind of starting to evolve. And then all of a sudden, just like after almost 2 hours, it's just like the model even heard me, saw me out of the corner, and I just made this sound like, boom, palm to the forehead.
It's gone. Just globbed together.
It just, I don't know.
It just
all of a sudden, proportions were off.
Mud.
In mud, and I was like, oh. So I'm totally in that learning stage.
Tough.
You got to strike out before you can hit a home run.
Yeah,
It's
but
just,
dude,
so
the flowers in a vase
yeah,
that you posted
I know
recently,
you like that one. Yeah.
that was a great painting.
Well,
I think it's a great painting.
thank you.
Yes.
It was a very simple thing. But,
People tell me I have a good eye for composition, photography, you know,
Yeah,
a
oh,
photo,
sure you do.
or you know, art. There's, I mean, like we have
Right,
Beth and
look
I have a
around.
lot of
Yeah,
art,
yeah.
a lot of it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Between the two of us. But I love witnessing your art career. I really think your contributions and some of the commission work and you know the production of your paintings is
Well, thank you.
just
I appreciate
coming
that.
along incredibly well.
I appreciate that. I've always wanted to do that, and I took the long road to get here, but I'm here now, and
You're way
I'm having a
ahead of me,
blast,
man.
Having a blast
In that area, you know?
Yeah.
It's something that inspires me to see, because I should be doing some of that myself, and I see you doing this, and you're doing
You
so
know,
well.
it's interesting you say that, because especially during COVID, I noticed this. When people finally stepped away from their stressful jobs and maybe had that extra half hour at home that they weren't used to having, and they started doing some of these little creative endeavors, you know, whether it was building a kitchen,
that time.
building a little cabinet for the bathroom, or drawing a picture or whatever. It is amazing the creativity that people, and I'm not just talking about people who are artistic, I'm talking about everybody. It's in there. There's so much of it out there. Everybody in the world has this, and just very few people take the time to do it. Because either they think they're not good, or they're not inspired at the moment, or whatever. And for me, you know, I've always kind of had the itch ever since I can remember. But even when I'm not inspired, just like today, when that watercolor fell apart, I was like, I literally took,
You stabbed the art teacher in the heart with the brush, didn't you?
I didn't get that artistic. I took my black pencil, you know, and just hacked across the whole thing, because I was like, this is ruined. I don't want to look at this. I can't stand to look at it. I'm doing something physically
wild.
to end this.
Dude, that's wild.
End this. And I did that, and then I'm like, and I noticed just a little bit of it, the pencil started running, you know, from the water that was already in the paper. So then I just took another brush and dipped it in the water and just kind of smeared water all over it. Started scraping away, and then I'm like, oh, this is kind of a cool background color.
Man.
You know, all of a sudden it's this real kind of like golden hued black, you know, background, like something you'd see in a Da Vinci painting or something. I'm like, oh, that's a good background to work with. I still kind of had enough of the figure there. So I dipped my brush in black, and I started painting in black. I was literally I painted it black.
Wow.
And I didn't even know that when I started doing it. It's the way I felt. But you know, art and music all tied to the emotions, and I learned this in my own experience with therapy. How people, when they're depressed, will just have no color in their whole world, you know, and they get asked to just put it on paper. How you feel.
Mm-hmm. Dark.
And it always starts out in black.
Yeah.
And it's dark. And it's dark. And then as time goes on and progresses, and they get a little bit healthier, just a little bit healthier about how to think about things, how to organize things, color starts coming back into the picture, literally on the picture. And you'll see maybe just one color added. And then you go, oh, how about that? Before long, you know, there's lots of color. And nobody prompted them to add color. It's just how they felt. So when your brain is unable to, you know, take in any more, it goes back to the simplest thing of, there's black and there's the nothing.
A whole array.
There's the black and there's nothing, But just be glad that you got at least black to work with, From there,
You can
move
go
forward. You can go upward, Yep.
That's a nice thought.
All it takes is a wee little bit of light
And start to
be not black.
nice.
Okay?
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Well said.
So,
All right. Well, let's close this one out
Right
with
on.
that positive thought of light,
yeah, light. Yes.
opening the darkness.
Right.
Billy Spitfire, episode number 88. Man, dude, I really appreciate you coming and doing this, and mentoring me over the years with tone and effects, order, and tube amplification and dynamics and Telecasters and humbuckers and P90s. And
I do love tone.
All of this stuff, dude.
Tone is my favorite
And
thing.
all the time that you help shape what I've been able to do with music, myself. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest cats walking around, great musician, and a great artist. Let's put some links up there. Get a little attention on some of this stuff. Columbus, Ohio based to boot.
Right on. Yep.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Lenny. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about
All this stuff. I'd love for you to come back again now, in the future. And let's see
where it's taking us. Let's see where it's taking us,
man. Episode number 88, Billy Spitfire. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.